Make sure here. I don't got the fancy intro. There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. Just about to tell Steven that I'm no match for him, honestly. His openings are so much better than mine. Welcome to the first Scream 6 stream. Well, not just of this year, but also, my first ever, and also my first Scream stream. That's going to be so hard to say. In general, since last February, so almost a full year, I think, since I've done these, and even back then I didn't do too many. So I have a very special guest. I couldn't do this alone. I needed help. I needed some sort of backup. So I brought Steven of Craven Something Scary. His link's in the description. Obviously, go check him out. I hear that we're both chasing milestones as we speak in terms of the subscriber, not a race, just a subscriber pull in general. So Steven, thank you so much, man, for coming on and being the partner in this first Scream live stream in a while.
Oh, listen, thanks for the invitation, Alex. There's no way I would miss this in a million years, man. And I'm so happy to talk Scream with you all the time, as you know.
Yes.
And to be on your first stream, heck yeah, man. It's a milestone.
I think the first stream for me of the year as well.
Yeah.
So I needed to make it, special with Scream. And you know what? The Scream gods honestly kind of blessed us a little bit today because we got a couple of different things. Well, last night we got the runtime seemingly confirmed at I believe 1 hour and 58 minutes. That's including the credit rolling. So probably just a little bit under, but I believe that puts it at the second longest Scream movie ever. So that's something we'll talk about that in this stream. And then also we got the picture, which I'll pull up when we talk about it, but we got a brand new picture of Ghostface. And you know what, Steven, let me start there because the first thing that people thought of when they saw this is they thought the picture, they didn't think the picture was fake. They thought that it's a fake Ghostface, not the real Ghostface. So you want to kind of give even just your initial reactions of seeing it, and we'll look at it, and then maybe we can talk about if you believe that.
Yeah, sure. That you're talking about the picture today, right? The new one. The outside. Okay, yeah. So no, I believe it's 100. It looks 100% real to me, and one of the reasons why I believe it's authentic for sure is because the location where this picture is taken. Now, of course, it could be someone else, right? It's not impossible. Yeah. But I can tell you this: that the building behind Ghostface, where they're standing, that is the actual one of the actual buildings in Montreal. That there it is. Yeah, that's definitely one of the buildings that was in the shoot where they filmed at. They have that street blocked off for quite a long time, several days. And my friend Chris over at Discover Montreal, who provided me tons of pictures of the filming locations as they were doing it. That building is one of them. I recognize the brick right away.
Yeah,
that's one of the ones there. So because of where it is, and I can see that background and know that that's correct. I believe that is 100% correct.
Do you think? And even the chat, I think. Well, the first initial thing was this actually a real picture? I think that's been settled. Do you think this is the real Ghostface? Do you think this is the killer? Or do you think it's just somebody wearing a costume? Because we've seen, obviously people wearing the costume. You think this is the real? This is one of the two, one of the three murderers in this film?
Man, that's a much tougher question. One of the things I look for when it comes to these, these kind of photos, and I know that it doesn't mean necessarily a fact, but one thing I've noticed in the teaser trailer, whenever it was showing those different ghost faces in the subway car, right?
Yeah.
Some of them did not wear gloves.
I was just about to say the glove is the first thing I looked at in this picture.
Same here. That's why my eyes immediately go to the hands. Because my thought is maybe, maybe Radio Silence is saying, you know what, we're going to help the audience a little bit.
Yeah.
Because this is around Halloween. So we're going to, and I don't know this for sure, but I think it's possible that maybe the ones that we see on screen that don't wear gloves is a way of telling us, oh, that's the fake one.
Okay.
Versus one with gloves. Now, that's okay if that's the case. However, I kind of hope that they all would wear gloves because then we're scratching our heads constantly.
Like cosplayers, if they're not actually, if you're gonna do it, it better be real knives too.
Where's the commitment, dude?
Yeah.
But seriously, man, Yeah, and it just, I don't know. There's something about this that just looks like the real deal to me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a good picture, and I'm sorry I completely skipped over the fact that we are live, so we have real people. So all the people, normally when Steven and I
Hey.
go, we just go, and I don't, there's nothing to look at. But no, I want to thank all of you. I mean, truly, you guys rock. I mean, like I said, it's been a long time since I've done something like this. So all of you guys being here, true,
Hey.
I really do. And I'm sure a lot of us, a lot of these people are going to be very familiar to both of us. But no, I truly appreciate you guys being here for the first of hopefully many. I mean, I'm back, right? I think I've been doing a lot more Scream 6 videos just in general, and the live streams are coming, and there's definitely going to be a lot of themed streams towards Scream, as the time goes on. Speaking of time, what do you think about I went right into that. What do you think about the length? Or I'll go. Oh, his dog. I think his dogs are going insane.
I'm trying to spare you the symphony of singing by my dogs right now. So Alex, if you want to start us off,
yeah, I'll go.
They'll calm down.
Okay, so the runtime for me, I mean, honestly, I don't have too much to say about it, and I'm only going based off of what the internet has told me in terms of the second longest. I mean, honestly, I think the longer the better. There's probably a time where I guess the length is too long, right? Eventually you get to a point where it just becomes too much. But I really don't think anything under, let's say, 2 hours, you're going to approach that. I think no matter what, you're safe. If the movie's like 2.5 hours, it'd be something kind of insane like that. But I think we're looking at a pretty good length. And it's probably for the similar reasons I would say for Scream 5. There's so many people in this film. And of course, the more time you have, in terms of what we can kind of just predict, the more time you'd probably have to flesh these characters out. So that's kind of how I would look. More time to me, the better. Obviously, if it gets to like 2.5, 2, 4, all these movies that are like over 3 hours for some god unknown reason, I don't need that in the Scream films. But I do want character development and in characters to get a little spotlight. And so the longer, the better. And also, I don't know, an hour 58 credits 6, 7, 8 minutes. So it's really like an hour and 50. It's significantly less than that, I guess. I don't know what the percentage, maybe like 5% less time there. You good, Steven?
Good. Thank you. Sorry.
No worries.
Oh my gosh. No, I agree with what you're saying, man. I think the longer the better. I was hoping we'd get over 2 hours because Scream 2, I believe, clocked in at like 2 hours and 4 minutes. I believe it was. It's the longest Scream that we've ever had. But I do appreciate the 4 extra minutes, man. We'll take it because it was 154, right, for Scream 5. So we'll get 4 extra minutes either way because that included credits.
Yeah.
So we'll get 4 extra minutes, so we'll take that, and hopefully it'll be enough to add a little bit more time with these characters. Because you're right, there's 14 essential main cast members for this film.
More, I think there's 13 and 5, so
there's
actually going to be more characters.
Yes, one extra.
Which I think you'll get pretty even. I mean, we've talked about it before. I think there'll be an elimination, let's say, in the beginning of the film. But the issue is who you eliminate. Is it even one of those 14, or is it actually, is it Kirby's boyfriend that's been theorized, right? Like, because that's actually an extra. So you still would have 14 going into the film versus last time you had 13, and then, Tara survived, so you still had 13. I guess Vince was, hit the ground rather early and fast, in the film. Even though, that the original script of his death, I actually like way more than what they were going. It was going to be way, longer played out. But yeah, I agree. I mean, longer in this case, the better. I mean, I'll take, even like you said, I'll take over 2 hours. I mean, just kind of flesh these characters out because you got to make us care, as we've talked about so often.
So often, man. And, and I hope that just lends to even a better story, a better mystery, longer movie runtime, more suspects, all that good stuff. And you're right. There has to be more victims than just those 14, pool of 14. There's going to have to be more. I guess it doesn't have to be, because they could kill 6 or 7 and they could all be from that pool of people. But, there's going to be some, like you said, Kirby's boyfriend. There'll be some college kids we've never heard of. And there's like, oh, there they are. There they are. Bye. They're gone.
Yeah.
Victim fodder, as I like to call them. They're just there to be victims, and that's it.
Yeah.
So but I'm excited that that at least it's not shorter. Like an hour and 40 minutes or something. I would have been real concerned if we'd have gone the other way, but we didn't. So, yeah, man, I'm optimistic. I'm still, even though Sydney's not in it, as we know, and Dewey, of course, is gone. With the cast they've assembled, I'm optimistic, Alex. I really am.
Same. It's looking to be pretty good. And we'll take chat questions. If anybody has a question, you just send it out there with that question mark at the end. And if I see it, we'll talk about it. Do you think there's going to be a Ghostface gang? I'll tell you, Steven, the closer we get, I really think it's possible that it is okay. And we can go into the Stu thing really briefly. I actually had some unspoken. I cut out like a 3-minute chunk of the last video I made because I was defending a lot of things, and I was thinking, I don't know, the video is becoming too long. But here's what I'll say: I don't believe Stu's back, and I've never believed it. I mean, you're my friend, and we've talked about it before, and I respect the fact that you're on it, and that's fine. So we can get there eventually. But with the Stu thing being red, like I guess a light red, let's say, I really believe it's possible that there is a cult of some sort, or they really may actually dig further into the online kind of website thing that they were referencing. I mean, it's almost a throwaway line, I would argue, to a lot of people. But if you pay attention, right, like the Richie Amber thing, I really believe that could come back, and I really believe that there could be multiple. Now, I don't know if you do more than 3. I've talked about that before. I think it kind of gets ridiculous. And even if you do 3, I think 1 has to be eliminated before the monologue. I don't think you can have 3v4 or 3v2 or 3v3. That's ridiculous because like Richie actually mentioned that in the ending of 5, where it's like, it'd be insane if Sydney keeps living, because like, how would this keep happening that she keeps surviving? So if you have 3 Ghostface, and then even if you have Sam, Tara, and then throw in 2 more for fun, or maybe even just 1, 3v3, there is no reason why the Ghostfaces should lose. Because they have guns, they have not. There's no reason why they should lose. So if there's 3, I do believe you'd have to get down to 2 by that point in the film. But I really think it's possible that there could. So I just went on a monologue there, so I'll hand it over to you. I mean, what do you think about the idea of a cult or just more than 2 of them?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it, man. I've honestly, since Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson were going to do that initially with Scream 3, the cult of Ghostface idea. And Stu, at that time, Stu was the leader of it. They were going to start filming. They were 3 weeks from shooting and the Columbine happened and everything changed. But I've been a fan of it ever since then. And I'm telling you, the verbiage that Amber used is so specific. When she's in that kitchen in Stu's house and she says, no, wait, I was radicalized.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, wait a second. I was radicalized. And then she says, I just wanted to be a part of something.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. That's not just responding to one person in a thread and having a conversation. That's something different. So I've always thought that language was very interesting and worth paying attention to. And I think that they could easily build on that in 6 if they want to go that way. They've laid the foundation. So I actually am pulling for that type of scenario where there is like a cult. And that Dreaded thread is nationwide. It's worldwide.
Right.
So, just because Woodsboro was the location that they responded to in 5, that thread is still visible in New York and Florida and anywhere you want to go, in Texas. So I think that also adds more credibility to the fact is, why is Ghostface in New York? Because they're a part of that.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Same thing. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
No matter where Tara and Sam moved to or went to school to, there would have been someone there, likely there, that's a part of this cult. So I think that it's interesting. Now, what you mentioned about having sorry for my throat, by the way. It's just
that's okay.
Issues. But one of the things you mentioned about how you want an early reveal of one of the Ghostface, I think that's a cool idea. I want one of 2 things. Either we get a Ghostface reveal like the midpoint of the movie, or we get only 2 reveals at the end, and the third one is a cliffhanger ending and it survives into 7.
Right. I could definitely even. I mean, you could go nuts and have. Well, really, I was about to just pitch the ending of Scream season 1 is actually what I was thinking, where it's like you did keep one of the two, and he was very much, Kieran was very much there the entire time, and he
Yes.
could, and I mean, in a way, it kind of hurts it a little bit, where it's like you had an opportunity to kind of like level the playing field and you chose to save it, and then your partner ended up dying, so now you're alone in season 2, which kind of was a mistake. But I mean, if you, and that's, I would argue that's more of like the next movie or the next season's problem if you do that. If there is a secret killer and they don't act and they let the other killers die, that's great for this film. It only becomes a problem if it's not well written in whatever comes next. So it becomes a next film kind of problem. And I think that's fine. But really, I was about to pitch like an idea of where the killer is part of it and they let the things, which is basically the ending of season 1 of the show, which is fine. I kind of like that.
I do too, man. And you think about this too, with the same writing and creative team. If this truly is a trilogy from the beginning, like we know, because we know, Alex, that Scream 5, Scream 6 rather, they had already secured the production offices in Montreal across from McGill University. They signed the paperwork on that. It was the 12th of January they secured that. That's 2 days before Scream 5 was released.
Yeah.
They were already planning the 6th one. They were ready to go. That's why it moved so quickly. So if this truly is like a trilogy where, Spyglass and all the powers that be said, Radio Silence, we want to hire you on for 3 movies. And that's the long game we're playing here. Right. And we want Guy and James to write all 3 movies. If that's truly the case, then this cliffhanger ending will just be all part of the master calculation.
Yeah.
All the master plan from day one of that end game killer, whoever the mastermind is.
Right.
We'll find out it's going to be. And I really do think that's a really cool way to do it versus just having 2 killers or 3, even, let's say, that they die in 6 and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like in 7, it's a brand new group. Right.
Yeah.
I love the carryover idea.
Yeah.
Personally.
And in some ways there has been carryover. In other ways, it's been not really.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I want to talk about with you the poster with the train tracks. We'll definitely get to that. Let me just we'll get to a few more comments first. Wayne, thanks, buddy, for being very, very early. For you. This is a good point. And since Sydney and Dewey won't be in the film, there's more time for developing other characters and survivors, which they did say. That was almost an interview quote. At Home Sick, definitely raising the mood for some screen talk. Well, thank you so much for putting up with us while you're sick.
My voice, hope we don't make you more sick.
Yeah, my voice isn't great probably when you're not sick. You guys happen to know the next anniversary release for Scream 1? Do you think they would do something for 30? I mean, that would be the next one.
I mean,
you did 25, but like what 25. Comes? Like, is there another, like, well, TVs can do 8K. There is a movement eventually towards 8K. Are we going to get there in 4 years? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That would be the next. I mean, there will be another wave where it's 8K instead of 4K. So that will happen. The new Ghostface looks short. Well, let's pull it up.
Really?
Again.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like,
I've never. The angling is. I like the angling. The angling is also a little weird. I'll be honest. Like, it's a different kind of shot. It's like it's like up
the ground.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, they could be short. The only reference point you have is that graffiti to the left,
right?
And like a garbage or some sort of garbage thing back there. But because and you know what? And we've said it before. They do angling on purpose, right? The Tara thing in Scream 5 being the classic example. They admitted they purposely, when Tara's closing the door, that's shot in that way to make Ghostface just seem enormous, even if it's Richie or especially if it's Amber, they're not that much taller than Tara is, right? So they have a way of shooting it. And even this way of shooting it up, you can't tell how tall this killer is compared to that trash thing.
You really can't. I mean, there's just no way in that. It's a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Because if they were filming it, like, let's just say standing up, for lack of a better way, where it's like, eye to eye, that's a whole new ball game. We could really gauge where they're at. But because it's skewed from that view, like their head, because their head is not over that. Over that,
they're not 8 feet tall.
Second story window, Alex. They're not that tall, right? So you could say that's a giant. They're on their heads at the second story, but we know it's because of the camera angle. So
I think and honestly though, you mentioned the glove earlier. I mean, now thinking about it, they could have just taken it even a more smart angle where it's like, because they're going to angle them like this, their hand would be showing. They don't even want to show you the hand, so hence there's a glove. I mean, it could be that detailed, because actually, if you do look at it straight on, you wouldn't see the hand.
No, you would not. Not.
Now, where's the other hand? There's no knife.
Let's see.
Do you think this is just a Ghostface stalking somebody, or do they have an intention to eliminate? Because there's no weapon. I feel like
it's true. There's not.
Like if you look at the wood in the garbage and you just go directly right to it, you see like a bump out of the out of this person. That could be the hand, but there's no weapon there. They could just be stalking somebody.
Could be. It could. And sometimes we see, like, I'm blowing it up on my screen really big here for a second. That whole right hand is like hidden almost.
Yeah.
Left hand's visible.
Left hand's very visible compared to the right, but that's just the lighting.
Yeah, I think that it could be one of those situations too where how many times have we seen Ghostface slip a knife down? Remember Scream 3 whenever Jenny McCarthy's in the room of all the Ghostface costumes?
Yeah.
And the one and the one that steps out and the knife slowly slips down his hand. I mean, so
it's Assassin's Creed. It's the hidden blade that's on their wrist and then it shoots out. That's what they go for.
Sure. Yeah. I think that that may not necessarily mean they're not Ghostface. I think, again, and I could be wrong. It could be a Halloween, but just I don't know. And they're by themselves too. Like they're just standing there.
If it's a Halloween costume, a little lonely.
Right.
If it's somebody mimicking it. I mean, we talked a little bit about that. What? Well, I guess one final question I was going to ask you with this picture. Do you think? I mean, because I think this was USA Today when they did like the preview of all the films next year. Do you think this is from the trailer, or do you think this is kind of like a separate picture that Paramount kind of gave out? Because I was wondering that, like, will we see this shot in a trailer? I think it's possible. It doesn't have to be though.
Right. No, it's definitely possible to be part of the trailer. However, man, that picture is so. It looks like it's. I don't know. It almost looks like it was taken deliberately for marketing.
Yeah,
it's so clean and so. You know what I mean? It's like really high def, really detailed, very clean.
Yeah. So it's a still, like a
still. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Yeah. But it could still be a part of the trailer. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of, let's like that one we got in the Entertainment Weekly with the aged mask.
Yes.
That amazing picture. Is that a part of the trailer or was that a still that they did for marketing?
Right.
I don't know, but I know I love it. Whatever it is, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And this, honestly, this picture, as I look at it more, Alex, on my screen, it's a tight shot. I like this picture.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, and it came literally at like I said, like I was on Twitter maybe like 3-4 minutes after it started getting passed around. It was like a whole arc of people online of like, is this a real shot? And then it's like, oh my God, no, it came from US. It is real. And it was all just like one big wave. It was pretty funny.
Man.
I'm still banking on Jill being involved somehow. So honestly, if you want to make like a Jill train instead of a Stu, I think I'd be more on like a Jill. Not that she's alive, but like I really think it's possible you could do some sort of flashback or Emma Roberts could be in this film. Like I would. I'm not betting on it. I like money, but I really think it's possible. I do. With her odd quote that we kind of everybody talked about in the community we don't know what the opening is. Like if the opening has anything to do with Kirby, or if they even, well, if you mention what happened to her, obviously you don't need to show it, But if you do show it, like if there's a shot of her house, like I think it's very possible Jill could have a very small, I'm talking like 10, 20-second cameo. I think it's possible.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think if that soundstage truly is Kirby's house,
yeah,
which it looks like it's a real good possibility that it is, then that opens up the door to Emma having a cameo. And I think it would be more in a dream sequence
ooh, okay,
situation. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Like
yeah,
Kirby's, has nightmares. You always see her like dealing after all these years. Maybe
yeah,
Kirby's still dealing with the trauma and the effects of all of that, of that whole night, that whole situation.
yeah.
And what if we have this amazing dream sequence back at Kirby's house? And
I'd love it. I'm
dude,
in for a dream. I
yeah,
think Dewey. I really think David Arquette will be back for 7 in terms of
mm,
some sort of hallucination / dream.
yeah,
I think that kind of makes sense. So I would not put it past them to try it out with Jill first.
yeah, man.
Take a 2.5-hour Scream movie. 30th anniversary will take place in 2026. Yeah, yeah. Actually it's less than 4.
Yeah,
It would be in the calendar year, just 3 years away.
that's right.
Of course, the Stu Train. No, I respect
Yeah.
Steven. I mean, I've watched the train go by a couple of times, I'll be honest, and I've considered, sit on the side and no, I mean, like I said, I mean, truly, and again, like that's the thing I cut out of my video. It's like I would say it applies to both sides. If there are Stu people that are so aggressive, but you're not. I'm not saying you, but if there are
Yeah.
Stu people that are so aggressive that it's like they're the only way, their way, or no other. That's just as bad as kind of completely discounting them and saying that they're losers and all this stuff. It's like neither's. I've never, and you and I have
Yeah.
talked about it both on and off air. I don't understand it. It's like it's a theory, and
Right.
maybe this is a segue into the train thing, or the poster. When they do that poster, what else are you supposed to? Are you expecting people to not talk about Stu when you purposely have his dot different than all the others?
Exactly.
Why do people make fun or attack people that are into the Stu thing? The movies want you to do that. It's possible a central theme of this movie is conspiracy theories. So they took fans' excitement and they made a movie out of it. That's not nothing. And it couldn't happen without that. So I'm very much on the fence with that kind of stuff where it's like, I'm not saying that Stu fans have the right then to say, this is the only way it can be and everybody else is wrong. That's just as wrong as the other side. But I've never seen it as a problem to just believe it. I don't even believe it. I don't even believe the theory. But like, it's okay to believe it. And especially when the movie is egging you on, then blame the movie, I suppose. Isn't that kind of a line in this franchise?
Exactly, man. I mean, like you say, to your point, I mean, they make this Stu's dot a different color than everyone else's dot.
Yeah.
And they're wanting us to talk about it. They clearly want us, and it's for a reason. Like I said, I did a whole video on it. I said, look, this does not mean he's coming back in this movie, but it does mean something.
Yeah.
Then we have to, I think we can all agree, no matter what, it means something. And there has to be, it's something related to Stu. Now, maybe it could be family. It could be his sister, Leslie Macher.
Yeah.
Or one of the characters that I, am paying attention to is Jack Champion. And, he started following Matthew Lillard on social media right around the time he got the gig to be in the movie. So that's interesting.
Which is not nothing because we talked about those strange coincidences with 5, and a lot of people told us like you're reading too much into it. But all of those things, like Vince or Kyle Gallner, right? Like him making that like that action. There was a reason for that. Jenna Ortega talking about Drew Barrymore. There was a we all thought it as a theory, and then people were saying, maybe you're reading too much into it. Both of those times, there was a reason, even though it was such a small little thing, there was a reason for it. So yeah, I wouldn't discount the following him on, or even the directors following Hayden Panettiere, setting it into motion. Like,
that's right.
It could be a throwaway line. It could be a relative. It could be something massive like a relative. It could be a throwaway line. Either way, it is still at least a little bit of something.
Something, yeah, it's something to it. I'm very excited to see what it's going to be. And, and as much as I'm the conductor of the Stu train, as you know, Alex, because I do believe Stu is alive. Now that does not mean he's going to come back. And I always tell on my channel, I'm like, look, just because me and a lot of others do believe he's alive, that doesn't mean they're going to bring him into the movie. He may never come back, but I hope that he does, and I think the opportunities. And I honestly don't want him back in 6. I've been very talked about this a lot. If you're doing the trilogy route, and that's the end of the day, then I actually want him in 7 to finish this thing out. If they're going to do it at all, I would. But I won't get mad. Trust me. If he's in 6, I won't. But I don't think so. I think 7's the way to go.
Yeah.
But and the thing is, it's almost like if they don't do it, Alex, why did you? What was the point?
Yeah.
You're doing like now you got the pink dot, you've got the aged mask. Now, of course, we'll figure out what the motive is in the movie.
It's what I said in 5. Like, you either put it to bed forever or you just keep it going for whatever.
Right.
There may actually be no end game. It could be just it gets people excited, it gets people talking about it online. They like clicks, they like engagement. Like that could be the simplest of reason. But if they want it to stop, I have an idea. Just say it in the movie.
Yeah.
It says we said that in 5. Just say it. The fact that you have to do the Easter egg of, or what was it, like, is Stu Macher alive or whatever?
Real life Stu Macher alive.
Yeah, like
survive.
Just by doing that, just say he died. And if you don't do that, then I don't think you're that much allowed to get mad at people who theorize, unless they overstep, and demand or threaten, stuff like that. But just the fact that people are talking about it, I don't really see the need to get upset with that when the movie has every chance, every single film, including under these guys now, you could just say it and end the discussion. And that's it. And you could have done it in 5. You didn't. You could do it in 6. Now it's getting weird because now you're almost leaning into it like triple time. Even though Kevin Williamson says it, which I don't put that much into, because didn't he say Kirby was dead too?
Yeah, he said Kirby died in his script.
Yeah,
and
so it doesn't matter. I mean,
to him personally, she was dead. And she's back, Alex. So, that's why I said Kevin's been wrong before. It doesn't. What he says, I respect him. He's a legend, of course. Yeah. But at the same time, man, it doesn't matter what he says. Honestly, I mean, I hate to be that blunt about it.
It is it's that truthful. It doesn't actually. They can change their mind. It doesn't matter what he says.
It does not at all.
How do you think they will handle Nev/Sydney's absence in the script? Will they build her into the main story regardless, or mention her once and never again? I said my theory, which that video kind of actually blew up, which I'm pretty happy about. I did my way too early motive theory, which was what actually you and I, Steven, talked about, I think, in our video and also your live stream. And I just kind of kept going and made a video. I really like the idea of the masks symbolize eras, and they go after. They're trying to eliminate kind of all the threads of those eras, and they want to wear the mask and robe of the era to take out those people. And without Sydney, you lose a thread of really 1 through 5, but specifically 1. You can maybe use Gale for 2 and 3, Kirby's 4, and then Sam and Tara's 5. So you do lose Sydney. It could be a throwaway line where you just say, I thought about, I guess, from the killer's point of view, where at the end in the monologue, they say, we were trying to go after each survivor of each era. We tried to go after Sydney. She, blocked the doors, where we couldn't get to her. I do think it would actually work if they say it, where they were planning to actually try to kill her, but she evaded them off screen, or they just couldn't get to her. On top of, I do think, and I think it's even been rumored, she will be mentioned at least a couple times with the characters. I think Gale will say something, but I would like, honestly, for the killers to mention specifically if that is because you could still do that. Having Sydney not there. Yeah. If Sydney was there, the entire plot would change and she would physically be there. So the idea of taking out all these survivors, you'd have her present to try to take her out. But you could still say we tried and failed. She's unobtainable. We can't reach her. She's that good. She's that good. We can't even get into her house. Something like that. I think that would work for me.
Yeah, for sure. Same with me. I think just as long as there's a reference to her, and I did see that also. I think where is it? Was it? Oh, it was Tyler or Matt said in that interview recently with Total Film a couple weeks back. I think they said that Sydney will be referenced in the movie. They're not trying to hide from it and just sweep her under the rug.
Yeah.
So there's some reference in the movie about her specifically. And my hope is that it's something like, like you said, we weren't able to find her, we weren't able to get her, or something that would work.
Yeah.
Or you could have something where Gail says, Kirby says, "Where's Sydney?" Or "What about Sydney?" And she can say something like, "Oh, don't worry, they're off in Europe, or they're off in the Bahamas or something," and it's like just kind of, oh, okay, we know where she's at. So we're we don't have to worry about Sydney getting killed or anything off screen.
They could play it. They could play it a couple different ways. Where, I mean, if they wanted to get wild, they could almost do like an arc with her character without her even being there, of talking about like, we don't know where she is and hopefully she's okay. I mean, you could actually like go after our emotions if you want. And have Gail being like, I tried to reach her, I couldn't reach her. And then again, at the end, the killers say, we tried to get her, but she got away. And it's like, oh my God, you just did basically a character arc with Sydney without Sydney. Like, I actually, I almost think of like Fast and Furious with Brian, Paul Walker, when he died, him not being there, they still like talk about him, that he does, like, they're trying to keep him out of things. He babysits their kids when they go on their worldwide adventures. Like, he has very small character arcs without being literally alive. And I actually give them a lot of credit for that, because they're pretty respectful with it. I think you could do it. You could kind of tell them, you can't kill her. You can't kill her through this mini side story that doesn't involve her. But you could, if you wanted, you could kind of lead us on a little path. It's possible.
Yeah, no, you definitely could. And if this thing ends in a cliffhanger and they don't resolve where Sydney's at, man, imagine that being the big lead.
That would be actually stringing us along even more, because then you do have to bring her back now in 7 to clean that up.
Ooh, man. So maybe we don't know this. I mean, and we would never know this until much later. But if somehow they negotiated with Sydney and they've worked a deal out before this thing is released, and maybe they got a deal done, and it was too late to get her in 6.
Yeah,
they were already wrapped, or they could do reshoots, but like, no, I don't know, man. I'm grasping at straws. But what if they could have somehow worked a deal out? Let's just say.
I would still like a cameo, but at this point, I'll take honestly a little small thread like story. I may make a video on that. I walk myself into these things. Which of these new characters are you most excited to see?
I mean, I'll tell you right now, for me, it's Samara Weaving.
That's what I was gonna say. Yep. I think Tony Revolori's cool because he was fine as Flash and Spider-Man, but I happen to think he's gonna be a pretty quick kill, so I don't want to like put all my eggs in that. I think Samara has a chance to be more impactful to the story, so I would go with that.
I hope she's around for more than the opening. I want her to be the opening kill. I want her to be there. I want her to be there longer, like a lot longer. But I don't know how long she's going to be there, man.
Yeah. Do you believe the survivors' parents are going to be revealed? Mindy and Chad's dad, Sam and Tara's mom, etc. You and I have talked a little bit about this in the past, where, again, I also don't think that's nothing. It's hard to get Sam and Tara's parents to New York, but I don't think we've seen the last of that arc. In fact, wouldn't that kind of be like Sydney in 1 through 3, where 2 really dropped both of her, like Maureen had the ghost kind of, that whole stuff in 3, and even her dad came back, but in 2, she's off, she's away. So I actually think you could basically copy that, save that in your pocket, and say, hey, remember about this dad that we never really, did much with, or actually anything? Well, he's going to be back in 7. Like, I think you could do that.
You could, and especially if they go back to Woodsboro. I think that's another thing too. If they decide to end it in Woodsboro for this trilogy again, then I think Christina Carpenter, Tara's dad, the Meeks twins' dad. Yeah, I think all of them could potentially be involved.
Yeah,
Leslie Macher too, man. If they don't do anything with Leslie in this movie, then she could be a factor in 7. As well.
Do you think that I feel like it's pretty high shot they would end it with Woodsboro again? Do you think 7 would? Because you can't do Hollywood again, and I guess you could, of course, come up with something original and do something new. But what would the reasoning? Unless one of them has a job, but that's somewhat similar to Sydney with 3. Like I don't know what you would maybe, and you could have even like the tagline, like ending it where it all began. Those kind of cheesy things. Like you could even do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. It's because I mean, the only exception is if they're truly following the Wes Craven game plan, then it would be, and I don't think they would do this like another making of Stab 10. I mean, I hope they don't do that like Scream 3 in Hollywood. I love Scream 3 in Hollywood, but I think that it's one thing now with this Scream 6 mirroring 2 based in college. That's already pushing it in my book. And if they were to do the Hollywood scene, that's too much. I think don't copy it like that. Let's just go back to Woodsboro. And I mean, I'm all for it because if you get a return to Woodsboro, then you got the Stu angle if you wanted to.
Yeah,
you've got Sydney. You could bring back, although no, she doesn't live in Woodsboro, but
you could take it straight to her. You could do that if you wanted.
Exactly. I mean, you could. Yeah, that's another idea. You could go to Chicago or wherever she's allegedly supposed to be living right now, and that's a possibility too. But I just think if there's any chance that we're going to get Christina Carpenter, Tara's dad, or the Meeks twins' dad, it's got to be in Woodsboro, personally.
Yeah, I agree. And that's, I think, why, like Martha's not that, like, and she literally said, it doesn't make sense. And it's going to be hard enough to get some of these characters there. They had to come up with a clever way for Kirby. Gail makes the most sense. It would have actually been pretty hard to get Sydney as well, kind of a leap of faith, or you just kind of have to give them it that, like, okay, we want Nev back, and we're just going to allow, even though she's not there, that she keeps for some other reason being pulled into it. Like, you gotta come up with creative ways that make all this stuff happen in the first place, let alone bringing these parents that have no business being there in the first place, and that's already hard enough.
Exactly, dude. I agree.
I just hope Josh, Dermot, and Henry are not ghost faces. This is his thoughts. Well, that's 3 of the new. I feel like one of them is probably going to be Ghostface.
I do too. And now that's a bet I would actually take.
Yeah.
We were talking about wagering. If I had to wager, I would wager that one of these 3. I don't know which one. But one of these 3 is either the mastermind or actively a part of the killing, of the eliminating, because it just makes too much sense, man. And I remember whenever they hired these 3, they announced them all really soon, back to back, almost like Josh. It was or Dermot Mulroney was first, I believe.
Yes.
And then it was Josh, and then it was Henry, and they all came within like a week or 2.
Yeah.
It seemed really quick. And I said, oh, they're loading up on adult male characters, which tells me this is Debbie Salt 2.0, and I don't know if it's going to be exactly like the motive, but I could see one of these being the Debbie Salt of this movie.
Yeah.
Instead of being Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah. And people will ask, like, I think I've been asked before, like, is there anybody you wouldn't want to be a killer? To be honest, like right now, I really don't I can't, like, Samara, the only reason anybody I think would have a problem or even like considering is just because of what she's done. And is it too obvious? Like that kind of stuff, not even from like a talent level, or can she pull it off? Right now, I really don't care, who actually, I think, what is it? Jack Champion. I mean, he's extremely young and he's very short. He's very weak, I guess, in comparison to some of the. So in terms of like brute strength, do you have like an Amber situation going on where you have to, again, suspend your disbelief? Maybe he's the only one from literally only that angle. Not that I don't think he's talented or whatever, but just, do you want to go down the kind of weaker, and you have to sell that on people that actually happened? It's already pretty hard to sell that Amber and Dewey like did that battle with each other. So you want to do that with actually somebody? I think Jack Champion is probably smaller in stature than
he's a little
Mickey
guy,
Madsen.
man.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a little guy. I mean, I don't know. I guess
I guess also the only ones I also wouldn't want is like Tara or Kirby or people that say like that kind of. So if people are like, can Kirby be Ghostface? That's where I would say also no.
Oh, yeah.
But
I
I
would
actually
hope
wouldn't
not.
say no to Sam. We've said that before.
Yeah, we have. I'm fine with Sam as well, man. I'm good with that. But just not Tara, just not Kirby.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you, man. I'm pretty much fine with anybody else,
Yeah.
And Gail. No, Gail. Gail's not going to be the killer.
That'd be
I'm
fun.
like, oh, I don't know, man. I wouldn't like it
No,
personally,
yeah.
but
I would question their sanity. How do you feel about Chad's character? Do you think he'll make
yes.
it to the end of the film? Um, I
Mm,
I don't think he'll make it to the end of the film, and I don't hate his character. I just don't know his character. That's probably
right.
I mean, and we've kind of said that before. I just don't think they did enough. And the rumor with him, didn't Viewer and on said he's like kind of low key the heart of the movie. I think the heart
Yeah,
was the line.
that's right.
Good. And when I hear that, I do think of like emotion because you don't really say heart without that. So
Hmm.
if they are doing something with Liv where he feels like regret, remorse, whatever the R word you want to use, that's exactly what we've been asking for. You have an
Yes.
opportunity. Melissa Barrera didn't she confirm like, isn't this movie only like 6 months after, within a year, let's
With
say,
she
after
said,
5?
yeah, I think she said it tracks with the real time.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like about a year,
Yeah.
essentially.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, like the Liv thing shouldn't be completely gone.
right.
You accused her and she died.
That's true, man.
And so that should still kind of be a little stinging you, you know?
Yeah, it should. And it's probably got some guilt over that,
Yeah.
you know, um, instead of staying with her, and then the whole thing happened. But man, I don't know, man. I just, is it, to me, I just want it to be a good mystery. Number one for me, Alex, as I want the story to be great. I want it to be a real whodunit this time, and one that they don't give away in the trailer later this month. Assume allegedly this month when the
Yeah.
trailer drops.
I think it'll
I think
happen.
so. Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic that we'll get the full trailer, but as long as they don't ruin it in the trailer, just surprise me. And like you mentioned earlier, suspending disbelief. There's always an element of that to horror movies. I mean, they're
Yeah.
horror movies, right? I mean, you have to be able to be prepared to do that to some degree,
Yeah.
even when sometimes you scratch your head. Sometimes, but yeah,
I would
I
just say
think
you
that
can't make like a huge massive mistake twice. So like the hospital,
true.
they knew in 5 that people complained about 4, and they
Oh,
tried in 5 to give a better reason. So
yeah,
there's that kind of, and then 4, the excuse could be suspend your disbelief, please. But you can
mhm,
only do that so many times if it's the exact same the exact same
right.
issue.
Yeah, man. Yeah, learn from the past and and give us some new fresh stuff. Mainly just again, I hope to be surprised, man. I
Yeah.
want I want a Jill moment from
Yeah.
Scream 4 where my mind was blown
Yeah.
when she took that mask off. I could not believe it was her.
Yeah.
I want that kind of feeling again in the
Yep.
movie at the reveal time.
I
So,
agree. And this one's a little different. I want one of the killers to literally be unmasked for once by one of the characters instead of Ghostface revealing themselves or see more than one Ghostface killer on screen. And they got so close in 2, and I think they kind of played with that probably purposely. I'd love that. I love because that is again something kind of. I mean, if you have the jump on Ghostface, take the mask off. And if, I mean,
right.
Dewey wanted to literally eliminate one from the picture. Also, kind of smart, right? If you have the chance,
Yeah.
let's go into the final monologue with one of them instead of both. Like, let's just do it.
Sure.
And for all they know, it could only be they may only think there's one of them. So if you take out one, maybe you literally stop the whole thing, right? So you'd
That's
think
right.
there's a little bit of meta-ness where they're aware there could always be more than one. So even if you take out one, they wouldn't get too cocky but
Right.
I like the idea. I mean, if you have the jump, if there's a fight in the middle of film with Kirby or somebody and you get the leg up, like take the mask off.
Yeah. Like I said, we've never seen that. We've never seen a character like, Sid or Gale or Dewey or anybody
Yeah.
unmask the masked killer. They always
Yeah.
take them off themselves. So that's yeah, I'd be down for that. Let's actually see that finally happen. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
You got Larissa. Hey, Craven and Alex, Happy New Year. Same to you. Do you think it's true that Courtney Cox is an executive producer now? And do you think she'll survive now more? I hope so. And good for her. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like that's kind of confirmed without being confirmed. Like, I don't think coming from them it's 100%. But do you think that I don't think that actually means she's 100% safe. I think she's 100% safe if she told them she wants to be safe. But I think her being an executive producer doesn't necessarily have to mean that.
Yeah. No, I don't either. In fact, in some ways, it makes me a little nervous on the opposite
Oh, okay.
because,
She's
and let me
going
tell you,
all in on the last one for her.
yeah, but here's my thing: what if this is an arrangement that she has now with Project X, so that moving forward, she's going to be
Yeah.
an executive producer even in 7. So
Right.
she's not going to be in the movie, but she's still going to be present in the titles with the credits, and
Right.
has maybe some type of influence into the movie, like Kevin Williamson. Kevin
Yeah.
Williamson is not writing this movie. He's not on the creative team, but he's executive producer.
Right.
And so is Marianne Madalena, Catherine Conrad. These people that are the historical producers that work with Wes Craven for decades,
Yeah.
some of 15, 20 years, they still all, even in the new movies, they're executive producers now.
Yep.
So I almost wonder, is she now executive producer because she's transitioning out of acting to the film?
Yeah. And
I
it's
don't know,
possible.
man. It's possible.
Like, as I think that's why, like, truly she's only safe if she's only safe if she says continue to keep
Yes,
me safe, you know. But at
that's
the
right.
same time, I don't think they're going to kill her unless she almost demands it. She says, "Okay, I want to die in this one." And they're like, "Well, we didn't write that, but yeah, okay, we'll do it for you." Like, that's the
Yeah,
only she controls it, which I give them a lot of, besides their people that negotiate offers with like Nev and stuff. I give them a lot of credit that it does seem like, Nev will do it. They will always ask Nev to come back every time. And if she
yeah,
says no, she says no. If she says yes, that's great. But they'll never ignore her or they'll never kill her,
right.
you know. So I give them a lot of respect for that.
As long as your name's not David Arquette, you're safe. Dang.
Yeah. Then they won't tell you.
They did him wrong, dude.
What do you think about the rumor of Kirby having a limited role? Now that is a rumor. I don't know where. I think Universal Horror is the one who said that. They got that from nowhere. So I don't know where they got that from.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, like, what is limited role? What does that mean? Does that mean 12 minutes? Because then Sydney had a limited role and Gail had a limited role in 5. So that's that's nothing shocking to me if that's true.
Yeah.
But it's ambiguous. The wording of that is ambiguous. Scream 6 equals the multiverse. Yep. We're Gail, Sid. There's your trio. Gail, Sydney, and then Kirby. They're all 3 ghost faces.
Oh gosh.
3 ghost faces: Samara Weaving, Carly, and Dermot Mulroney's character.
Okay.
Carly is that Devin? That's her, right?
Oh, I'm trying to remember who she.
I'm pretty confident.
I got to get tighter on those.
I know. I still can't connect some of these because I don't watch too many shows or movies, so I don't know who half these people are. Or unless Carly's Liana. Shoot.
Maybe. Because isn't Carly the one that's supposed to be, was originally Carla, the out of work actress or something? Or no, that was Derek. Originally Derek. Now it's been changed to, I forgot who the name is.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's
there's too many names. I mean, when you have actor names, character names, and then you have code names for those characters.
Code names.
3 sets of them is way too much.
It is too much. I need to create a scorecard. Just go into Word and just type up actor name, right?
Yeah.
Code name, and just keep it handy.
Adam said, "Isn't Liana's character Quinn? Source view or non?" So they could be Devin then.
Could be. Yeah.
Let's see. We're getting to the end of the stream, so I'm just trying to pick some of the questions that stand out here. People, the idea that the teaser is a dream sequence. I think both of us have talked about that together and actually apart. I think it's possible. I personally don't. I think there's a growing theory that it is PTSD from Mindy, like just full on. I still believe it to be. I think you can have PTSD while it also kind of being real, though. I think you can. Those two things are, not necessarily separate.
Absolutely, man.
I want to know why they haven't released anything new about the characters yet. Last year they were crazy promoting the characters. That's true. At this point, less than 3 months? Well, we're almost at 3 months. No, 2.
Yeah, 2
months. 2 months and a week.
Yeah.
At that point last time. Well, no, did we actually? Because that was December oh shoot, what's the Brazilian?
Yeah, dude. That was December. We got those.
Yeah, that was like December 3rd, and the movie came out like January 5th or so.
14th.
Oh, okay, I was way off. So, but there you go. I mean, that's a month.
Yeah,
they kind of waited. Yep. So we may not know. I think after the trailer, then it's all bets are off. Shield your eyes from spoilers because they're just gonna start going.
100%,
it'll be trailer, characters, and TV spots within a month of each other, and then the film comes out. Like that's how fast it's gonna go.
Yeah, I think February is gonna be the sprint. That's where you're gonna see they're gonna crank it up to 10 in February, and just poster blitzes, TV spots. It's gonna get insane starting in February, and I know that they're doing those posters with the characters because I have that picture that was sent to me from someone who is anonymous. I can't say who they are, but they worked in the production crew of Scream 6 in Montreal at the studios, the sound stages rather. And they were there for all the subway filming, or they were for all those scenes. And they're the ones that sent me that. Oh, see you, Wayne. They're the ones that sent me the picture of Mason Gooding on the last day, who was had the knife and doing the glove with his hand.
Yeah, we still need that.
Well, we haven't got those yet, so they're coming.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to do, and like I said, Liana is Quinn. Carly
was the cover name. Okay, so Carly was the cover name, not Carla. It was Carly. Yeah, that's it. That's Liana.
Liana was the one they were talking about. I mean, yeah, I can see it. Liana, I very much get the sense is in the full film. So I do think she makes it at the end, which either means they're going to continue to add people for the next one, or she's a killer, which I feel pretty strong. I mean, it could be misdirection, but she just seems to always be everywhere, and all those behind the scenes when they're posting on Instagram, she just seems to be a part of it the whole time. So I get the sense she is probably, if you look at like the main cast, but then there's another main cast that's not returning characters. She's in that main cast. Where somebody like Samara, I don't even know if would be in the same level as her. So
I don't know either. I just want Samara to be around. That's all. I want her to stick around.
We'll end on this because I think I always love talking about Tara. About Scream 6, do you think Tara will survive Ghostface or not? I think she'll survive. although I think I've never been so shaky than I am right now on it. Like I do feel worried. I think they probably are giving each other the biggest pats on the back if the contract was already negotiated with 5. Like when they did 5, they negotiated 5, 6, 7, and not just 5, 6, because they would give themselves a pat on the back, and then if they didn't do it, they would be firing each other because her price went up since the casting process of 5.
Oh my
and I think we could kind of all see it, and then it kind of just happened in real time with Wednesday. So I know that's like not Tara, the character. That's that's something a little bit different, Jenna. But I would only be worried actually because of that. She's so big. Can they literally afford her?
Right.
It would be my question.
Yeah, can they do it? I mean, I hope that if they've already shown them to be themselves a little cheap, not paying Nev, which is a little concerning. But to me, Jenna is your meal ticket, bro. She is the one that nothing could have been. I've said this before. Nothing has helped the box office sales for Scream 6 more than Wednesday.
Yeah,
because that propelled Jenna to skyrocketing levels in the universe in terms of popularity. And I mean,
didn't Scream's Twitter do like a hey, it's Wednesday or something? Didn't they post that? I think the official. I'm pretty sure because did the trailer come out on a Wednesday? But I'm pretty sure the official Scream Twitter took a picture of Jenna in the teaser and said, "Hey, it's or something with Wednesday." So even they know everything. Everybody knows. If you can connect it to Wednesday in some way, you do it every time.
You do it every time. And so I think that there's going to be a lot of people going to see Scream 6 that previously would not have probably gone because they want to go see Jenna. And I'm also going to say something else. I've heard from someone who also anonymous thing I can't talk about, who claims to have knowledge of seeing the trailer, the full trailer that's coming already.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to reveal anything they said. Only thing I will say is this: they said it is very Jenna heavy.
Oh wow!
It's very Tara is very central to this next trailer. Now we'll see if it's true or not, but that's what grain of salt. But right now they said that they've put her very, very heavily in this trailer.
Yeah,
which is smart if that's true. Plaster Jenna Ortega's face everywhere.
Yeah, was Jenna's check bigger than Nev?
Oh yeah,
I think if you negotiate them right now without built-in stuff where they just raise it a little, if you went to Nev and you went to Jenna to negotiate Scream 7, Jenna would make more by a ton. Because legacy means something, but who's hot in Hollywood, that is literally everything to those people because that's how they live their lives. So.
Yes. She's. I mean, they absolutely lucked into Tara Jenna Ortega really when they hired her in 5. That was a total. I mean, timing couldn't be better, man. Timing's everything in life, Alex.
Yeah.
And they right now, I guarantee you that they are the percentage of revenue that they potentially were going to lose from not having Nev.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that's been made up in spades.
I think
with
so
Tara.
Too. Yeah. Agreed. Well, this was a blast. Honestly, it did way better than I thought it would. And I know I mean, I missed because we just can't shut up. Mainly me. There's so many comments of the past half an hour that I missed over. But the good news is I definitely want to do this more with or without Steven, but I definitely want Steven back in the future for sure. But there will be more Scream 6 live streams. I'll try to get to all the the 500 questions. But I really appreciate it, Steven. I really appreciate you being here. For anybody obviously that doesn't know Steven of Craven Something Scary, right there in his name there, hit the @ symbol in the description. We'll take you right to his channel. Still catching 8,000, just like I'm going for 70. But I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for being. I didn't want to do it alone. I was unsure how this would do, but we always have chemistry. People will tell us that we have good chemistry. So thanks for being here.
Bro, you killed it, first of all. Great first stream. You absolutely did a perfect job. Would have never known it was your first if we hadn't said it. And secondly, thank you, man. I enjoyed it as always. I'm always down for Scream Talk with you, man, and just hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And listen, if you ever do any GTA 6 streams next year or 2 years, whatever, keep me in mind.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
But
and we'll shout you out too. Again, you're going to be going live on your channel within, let's just say, the next hour. So
within the next hour.
Yeah. So make sure you guys are subbed there. He'll be live very, very soon. I may make an appearance there as well.
That's right.
But thank you, Steven, for being here. Thank you to the chat for being here, and we'll do much more of this. We'll get all those questions answered. Thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you all on the next one.
Bye.